You ever see someone walk into a room like they own it, but you know deep down they're a total fraud? Yeah, that was her, my ex-fiancée, 3 weeks before the wedding. Except she wasn't walking into a room. She was walking into my life for the last time, except I didn't know it yet. And if you think this is one of those romantic we grew apart stories, buckle up, because this ride has more betrayal than a soap opera marathon on cable TV. Fast forward to now, she's pregnant. Not with my kid. Oh no, that would be too simple. She's carrying the child of the guy she replaced me with, and here's the best part. It happened so fast, the math barely works out. You don't have to be Einstein to figure there was some overlap. In other words, while I was stressing about the guest list and whether my mom's side of the family would get along with my dad's side of the family for one single day, she was busy conducting a little side project. Classic toxic love move. And me? I'm just sitting here sipping my coffee, smiling like a man who already knows how this ends. But let's rewind, because you can't appreciate a good revenge without knowing the setup. Picture this. Small-town America, the kind of place where everyone knows your business before you do, and gossip travels faster than the Wi-Fi at Starbucks. We'd been together for 3 years, the kind of relationship people called solid, which in hindsight is just another word for boring enough to hide the cheating. We had the whole American dream package, backyard BBQs, family road trips, matching Christmas sweaters, the whole 9 yards. My buddies joked I'd hit the jackpot. Little did I know, I was the guy standing at the slot machine while someone else was cashing out my winnings. She was smart about it, though. Oh, she played the role. Smiling at my mom, baking cookies for my nieces, laughing at my dad's terrible back-in-my-day stories. She even suggested inviting her friend to the wedding. Said he was going through a rough time and could use the company. Yeah, the kind of company where you wake up next to each other in a hotel room while your fiancé is out picking up the cake samples. If this was a conspiracy movie, she'd be the villain who pretends to be an ally until the third act twist, and I'd be the clueless hero reading the wrong map. And here's where the parody kicks in. I actually started noticing the signs, but I chalked them up to wedding stress. The late nights working, the phone that was suddenly face down on the table, the perfume that didn't smell like the one I bought her. I even made a joke about it one night. You cheating on me or something? And she laughed so hard I almost believed her. Almost. But the universe has a way of throwing a pie in your face just when you think you're in control. One Friday night, I show up to surprise her at her apartment with dinner, you know, romantic movie style, only to find the door unlocked and 2 voices inside. His voice, her laugh. And let me tell you, it was the kind of laugh she never used with me. I froze, holding takeout like an idiot in a rom-com where the lead gets dumped before the happy montage. In that moment, something clicked. I didn't storm in, I didn't scream, I didn't throw the food, even though it was really good food. No, I walked away, because I realized something important. This wasn't the end of the story. This was the opening scene of my revenge. You see, revenge isn't about yelling or throwing punches. That's amateur hour. Real revenge is about patience. It's about letting people build their own trap, brick by brick, until they're so deep in it they can't see daylight. And I knew she'd keep digging. Sure enough, 2 weeks later, word gets around. She's pregnant, and the town starts buzzing. Was it his? Was it the new guy's? Did she cheat? Oh, the speculation was delicious. I didn't have to say a word. Every little detail spread like wildfire. And the best part? She had to keep smiling through it, pretending everything was perfect. I just went about my life smiling like I was in on the world's best inside joke. Because I was. And trust me, I already had the script flipped in my head. The only question was how long I was going to let the show run before the big finale. You ever hear the sound of your own pride shattering? It's kind of like when you drop your phone face down on the pavement, silence for a second, then this creeping dread. That's exactly how it felt when I found out she was pregnant. Not just maybe pregnant, but the full Instagram announcement with that cutesy sonogram photo, all heart emojis and blessed. And here's the kicker. The caption read, "When you know, you know." Yeah, I knew too. I knew she'd been cheating on me while we were still shopping for wedding napkins. I knew she'd built an entire fairy tale in her head where she was the victim who found true love. And I knew, deep in my soul, that the baby's middle name should be Timeline Doesn't Add Up. Now, any normal guy in my position might have gone nuclear. posted receipts, called her out in front of both families, maybe even spray-painted cheater on her lawn in giant block letters. But no, that's amateur stuff. This was bigger than some small-town cheating scandal. This was betrayal on a cinematic scale. And if Hollywood taught me anything, it's that you don't rush the plot twist. So I kept quiet. I played the role of the heartbroken ex. I even let a few sources leak that I was taking time to heal. Meanwhile, I was working on something far more important, setting the stage for the perfect revenge. The first step was to disappear from her narrative. No sad posts, no cryptic quotes about toxic love, no late-night drunk texts asking why. I became a ghost, the kind that lingers in the background of every photo, in the corner of her mind, just enough to make her wonder if she messed up. And I knew she would. See, the thing about people who betray you is they need you to watch their new life, to see how happy they are. It's part of the performance. When you don't give them that audience, it's like cutting the power during the big act, and that's when the cracks start showing. Oh, and the family angle? Let me tell you, my family was ready to storm her house with pitchforks and casserole dishes. My mom called it a disgrace. My sister called her a walking Lifetime movie. Even my dad, who usually avoids drama like it's on fire, told me I should hit him where it hurts, his reputation. But here's the thing. In a small town, you don't have to do anything to ruin someone's reputation. You just have to let people talk. And boy, did they talk. The pregnancy math, the speed of the relationship, the fact that she was still wearing the engagement ring in her first photos with him. It all became town gossip currency. The conspiracy theories got so wild I heard one lady at the grocery store say the baby might actually be mine and that I was secretly planning to fight for custody, which, honestly, was tempting just to watch the chaos. But I had bigger plans. While they were nesting and hashtagging family goals, I was reinventing myself. I joined a gym. I started dressing sharper, showing up at local events, shaking hands with people I barely knew. I learned how to smile in photos like I was auditioning for a toothpaste commercial. And every time I posted something online, it was calculated. A photo of me hiking at sunrise, dinner with friends at the new steakhouse, volunteering at a charity event. No captions about revenge, no passive-aggressive digs, just enough to look like I was thriving. Because nothing messes with a toxic love story like the ex refusing to play the villain. But here's where the parody turns into a thriller. I started hearing rumors that their dream relationship wasn't so dreamy. Money problems, arguments about whether to find out the baby's gender, and my personal favorite, whispers that he'd been spotted at a bar with someone who definitely wasn't her. Oh, the poetic justice. The betrayal was turning inward, like a snake eating its own tail, and I didn't have to lift a finger. I just sat back, watched the show, and waited for the perfect moment to flip the script completely. Because trust me, I wasn't just going to win. I was going to win in a way that made everyone else think I hadn't done a damn thing. That's the art of revenge. Here's the thing about revenge. The good kind, the kind that tastes better than cold beer at a summer BBQ, it's not about striking fast. It's about letting the other person think they've won, letting them decorate their little victory parade, and then watching the floats catch fire one by one. So while the toxic lovebirds were busy posting weekly bump updates like they were running a baby-themed reality show, I was quietly building my new life like a secret government project. Step 1, the image. I made sure every time someone saw me, at the grocery store, at the gym, at the local coffee shop, I looked like I'd just stepped out of an inspirational Instagram account. Clean haircut, fitted jacket, shoes that didn't look like I mowed the lawn in them. Even my dog started looking sharper just from walking next to me. And here's the magic of small-town America. News spreads faster than a conspiracy theory on Facebook. Every photo of me smiling with friends, every sighting of me laughing with a mystery woman, sometimes just my cousin, but hey, why ruin the rumor? It all became fuel for the gossip machine. Step 2, the social silence. I didn't post a single thing about the cheating, the betrayal, or the broken engagement. Instead, I dropped breadcrumbs. A picture of me at a rooftop bar in the city with the caption, "Good company, good night." A shot of me hiking in the mountains with new views, new vibes. People filled in the blanks themselves, and in a place where family loyalty runs deep, those blanks turned into entire novels about how I'd dodged a bullet and how she was already paying the price. Step 3, the public appearances. I started showing up at community events like I was running for mayor, charity dinners, sports fundraisers, even the annual chili cook-off. And here's the delicious part. She and her new man showed up too. You could practically see the smoke coming out of her ears when I'd stroll in with someone on my arm, laughing, shaking hands, taking pictures. Was she jealous? Regretful? I don't know. But I do know she suddenly stopped making eye contact, which in my book is as good as an admission of guilt. Step 4. The private whispers. I didn't spread rumors. No, that's messy. But I made sure to have conversations in the right places, at the right volume. A casual, "Oh yeah, I'm doing great. Work's picking up, met some amazing people lately," while standing in line at the coffee shop right behind one of her friends. Or, "Family's been really supportive through everything," when I knew her cousin was within earshot. Like I said, small towns are a perfect echo chamber. Now, somewhere in this long game, the cracks in their perfect little love story started turning into full-on earthquakes. He lost his job, or maybe quit, depending on which version of the story you believe. And suddenly, they weren't posting as much. The matching outfits disappeared. The captions got shorter. And then came the untagging, the slow, painful social media breakup dance everyone recognizes. Meanwhile, I was accidentally running into mutual acquaintances who'd drop little nuggets like, "She's been asking about you," or "She didn't look too happy last time I saw her." I'd just smile, thank them, and change the subject, which is Revenge 101. Never let them know how much you know. But here's where the parody part kicks in. I started treating it like a sports game. Every time I'd hear a new piece of intel about their problems, I'd mentally keep score. Baby shower canceled, plus 5 points. His car repossessed, plus 10 points. She's living with her parents again? Game point. And the wildest twist? People started looking at me like I was the one who won. Strangers, actual strangers, would stop me to say things like, "Man, you're glowing, must be nice to be free," or "Guess everything worked out for the best, huh?" And I'd just nod, because yes, it did. It worked out exactly how I wanted, because this wasn't just about watching them crumble, it was about making sure they knew I was doing better than fine without them. That's the thing about betrayal. It's only powerful if it breaks you. If you walk away stronger, you don't just survive it, you own it. And now? I was the one writing the script. They were just characters in a story that was no longer theirs. They say revenge is best served cold. But honestly, by the time I served mine, it was frozen solid, wrapped in foil, and delivered like a 5-star gourmet meal. No drama, no yelling, just the quiet kind of ending that keeps people up at night wondering where it all went wrong. By the time the grand finale came around, their perfect little family goals act had collapsed faster than a cheap lawn chair. The breakup was public, not in a TMZ way, but in a mutual friend stop inviting you to things way. He moved out. She stayed behind, visibly pregnant, visibly stressed, and, if the town gossip network was to be believed, visibly regretting everything. And here's where the universe must have a sense of humor, because out of nowhere, she reached out to me. It started with a Facebook friend request, declined, then a DM. "Hey, can we talk?" Seen, but not answered. The next week, she accidentally ran into me at the grocery store. She looked smaller somehow, like the weight of all that betrayal had been sitting on her shoulders for months. She started talking about how things had been complicated, how she missed our friendship, how family was important and maybe we could be civil. Oh, the irony. She wanted civility after she'd burned the bridge, the boat, and the whole shoreline. I smiled. That same smile I'd worn since the day I walked away with takeout in my hands and said, "I'm doing great, thanks. Take care of yourself." And then I walked away. That was it. No shouting, no gloating, no "I told you so." Just the kind of silence that echoes louder than any speech, and you could see it in her face. She knew. She knew she'd been erased from my life so completely that even her apology couldn't get her a cameo in the sequel. Meanwhile, my life kept getting better. The new woman I was seeing, gorgeous, smart, zero toxic love energy, had this way of making every room feel lighter. We went to events together, laughed too loud at dinner, and made memories that weren't shadowed by betrayal or cheating. People saw us and didn't just think he's moved on. They thought he upgraded. And that's the thing about the perfect revenge. It's not about making them suffer in some cinematic over-the-top way. It's about living so well that they can't help but compare every single day and know they lost. But the real kicker? I never once had to tell my side of the story. Not to my family, not to friends, not even online. Everyone connected the dots themselves, and in their version of the narrative, I was the guy who survived betrayal, dodged a toxic love trap, and came out on top without throwing a single punch. And because I never gave them a direct quote, the legend only grew. In a small town, silence isn't just golden, it's weaponized. Months later, I heard through the grapevine that she'd moved in with her parents and was working part-time at the local diner. I don't celebrate other people's misery, but I won't lie. There was a quiet satisfaction in knowing she had to serve coffee to people who'd watched the whole saga unfold. Every refill came with a side of whispered gossip. Every tip left on the table was probably accompanied by a glance that said, how's life? And me? I'd walk in every now and then, not to rub it in, but just to exist. A polite nod, a thank you for the coffee, and a smile that said nothing and everything at the same time. That's the silent checkmate. When you're not just winning, you're playing a completely different game. She's still stuck on the board, scrambling to move pawns around, while I'm already off having drinks with the people who built the table. That's the real revenge, not the destruction, but the evolution. And if anyone ever asks me how I did it, I'll tell them the truth. I didn't need to destroy her life. I just needed to build mine so big and so bright that her shadow couldn't reach it. The rest took care of itself.